Welcome to Hope for Everybody, a channel that exists to highlight people and places that are all about providing hope to people in need. Check out today's episode.
Well, thank you for joining me on another episode of Hope for Everybody. And the purpose of this channel is to, of course, highlight organizations, churches that are making a difference and helping to provide hope for everybody. And this morning, Joel Suarez is with me. Suarez is with me from Paradox Church.
Yes.
Joel, tell us about yourself. Obviously, you make me think of do you remember a guy, an old Christian comedian by the name of Mike Warnke?
No.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Well, there's quite a backstory, and he got into some trouble. His testimony was largely fabricated and all this stuff,
Okay.
but he was like one of the very first Christian comedians ever.
Okay.
And he used to talk about how he did not look like your typical pastor. And so he would comment about that all the time. In fact, he had this really hilarious routine called weirdness is a relative concept.
It's true. I agree with him already.
Yeah.
I agree with him.
So I'm curious, you don't look like the typical pastor. So
Yeah.
tell us give us some of your background. Tell us how you became in ministry, how you came to Paradox Church.
Absolutely. So I'm originally from California, born and raised, son to two immigrant parents. My dad's a Spanish pastor. I acted funny enough, it seems to be a common theme. I did not want anything to do with church for a while. It was until college that the Lord drew me to himself. I wanted nothing to do with church. I think I would say I was qualifying myself as agnostic. I knew there was something out there. I just didn't just trying to figure all that out. Got involved with the wrong crowd, all the things that one does. And then the Lord kind of met me one time. I got arrested for something that this time I had not done. And I say this time because there was plenty of times that I had done stuff. And I got arrested, and I remember asking myself, I need to make some life changes because this is going to be the rest of my life. And the question that was in the back of my mind was, my parents seem very happy doing this church thing, and it seems genuine, and my friends seem very excited about this. And I remember asking the Lord, if this is true, I want to know, because I don't want to waste the rest of my life trying to do this thing and just faking it. And the Lord in his kindness met me in college, man. I was coming home. I still remember I was going back to my dorm. One of my first weeks in college, I played soccer. And one of the guys that I had met at the soccer field, he asked me, "Hey man, are you coming to this, to the Bible study?" And I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" And so I showed up, and there was a bunch of guys my age, not because they had to be there. My life was, you go to church because, my parents were at the church and because I had to be there. But these guys were out of their own volition. They were just having a worship service and a Bible study. And that was like mind blowing to me that nobody was making them do it, but they were choosing to do it. And that the Lord just started doing a work in my heart and softened my heart to the gospel and changed my life there. And from there, I'll fast forwarding a little bit.
Was it a particular group? Just curious. Navigators or
it was
RUF or just
a
group?
bunch of dudes.
Very cool.
Just a bunch of dudes that were just like on a Saturday morning, and I was like, "This is weird." At any time in my high school job, like, "You guys are weird. I'm not coming with you guys." Anyway, and then during that time, the Lord kind of drew me to church planting, and our goal, my wife and I, we got married after college, and we thought that the Lord was going to be moving us back to California to church plant. That did not work out. And then a friend of mine who was going to Southwestern Seminary, he told me that
Here in Fort Worth.
Yeah. At that time, I was going online to Southern Seminary. And we just got married. I was working for a nonprofit. I don't know if you've heard of the name CASA. They're a global organization. Child advocacy. They're a national organization.
Yeah. My wife's a CASA.
Yeah. So I was working for that organization. But he told me, "Hey, they're hiring if you want to apply." I applied back in 2019, and so I've been there since 2019, man. I love it. I came on, which would seem like a fancy title back in 2019. Very quickly realized that it was a catch-all title. It's called Spiritual Formation Director. Literally it sounded fancy. No, it was just like, you're doing everything. You know what I'm saying? But it was a great time. And since then, now I oversee for the last 3 years, I've overseen all of our local partnerships. So my actual title is Engagement Pastor. I'm one of the elders at the church, at Paradox. And I oversee all of our local ministries, local partnerships, and everything that comes with all of that. So
Tell us about the name Paradox.
yeah, man, what a strange name, huh? Have you heard of the book? It's like this little Puritan prayer book called The Valley of Vision.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so the first prayer is called The Valley of Vision, and it says, "Let me learn by paradox that the way up is the way down." It says the paradox of the gospel, that the gospel is to be low is to be high, to be poor is to be rich. So it's just the paradoxes of the gospel, that the gospel is ultimately a paradox here in the world. So that's where it came from, literally from the Valley of Vision, first prayer.
The goal of this channel, of course, is to highlight organizations and how they're making a difference and help provide hope for everybody. And of course, it sounds like if I'd have called Paradox, not knowing you, you'd have been the guy that I probably would have ended up talking to, because you're the guy in charge of how Paradox is providing hope for everybody.
Correct.
So talk to us about some of the things that that Paradox is doing in the community to help provide hope for everybody.
Absolutely. Funny enough, I was just working on the newsletter we send out, and just kind of recapping this past week. I had a meeting with all my leaders and just kind of hearing what the Lord has been doing this whole year. And one of the things so we have a couple of ministries, and I'll give you a couple highlights that was just super cool that the Lord did. We have a ministry called Ladera that serves at Monarch Pass with refugee kids every Wednesday. We spend time with them, we play games with them, and then we teach them a Bible story. In light of that, we've been able to bring them to our summer camps. And the first year we did it, we brought 2 kids. The second year we did it, we brought 7. This year we brought 20 kids, and they're all on scholarship. We invite them, we pay for it. We just want to give them a space for them to experience the gospel. We go pick them up. We had to rent 2 buses so that we could, like 2 big vans, 2 big 15-passenger vans to bring them on. So we have Ladera. We have a ministry called Embrace Grace. It's a national organization, but we run it at the church. Embrace Grace, which serves mothers that have chosen life, single mothers. And we do a Bible study with them for a couple of weeks, and then we throw a baby shower for them. Inside of that, there's a ministry also called Embrace Life. And so for us, our philosophy of ministry is we want to be holistic in the way that we do ministry. And so, okay, what happens after that, couple of months that they've spent time with us? So the question is, what if we did life with them? And so Embrace Life means it's just an ongoing Bible study. You don't have to, you can be 1 kid, 3 kids. It doesn't matter to us. We just want you to have a space to do life with us. So we have Embrace Grace and Embrace Life. And then we also have a ministry called Foster and Adoption Ministry. Obviously, the name says it. We support and provide whatever is needed for people in our community, and specifically in our church that are needing and that are fostering people. And we started foster support groups as well. That is more of an outreach for the community. You don't have to be a church member. You don't have to go to our church. We just open it up, do a study, create space, provide food, just to serve them. And so those are the 3 ministries that we have in-house. Outside of that, we support other external partnerships, if we were to use that language, financially and with volunteers. We support the Net here in Fort Worth. We support Dash, which serves asylum seekers, and we support Forward Pregnancy Center. And so those are some of the ways that we've been serving our community here in the last time. Actually, one of the coolest stories was this past Thanksgiving. We started doing meals for the kids at Ladera. So we were trying to figure out how we connect and serve them. We were able to give out 250 meals. Our church raised over, just specifically for the meals, about $10,000 so that we could give them a Thanksgiving meal. It is said that during Thanksgiving, for most lower income families, Thanksgiving is a day where, or Thanksgiving week, because they're not at school and they're not getting food at school, they go without the most. So we're like, yeah, what if we provided during that week at least 1 meal? And so, I don't know, it's been awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
If you're liking this content, don't miss out on future episodes. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. Now back to the show.
Another organization or another thing that you're partnering with that I heard about through the grapevine is a free medical clinic across the street.
Yes. Westside Medical Clinic.
Has that opened up yet? Officially, or is it on its way?
They're still working on opening it up. That's why I don't want to promote it out there, put it out there, because I don't know where they're at that stage. But we partnered with. That's actually a really cool concept that they did, because it is not a one church doing it. It was a conglomeration of churches.
Doxology,
Yes.
Paradox,
And oh my goodness,
Christ Chapel, probably.
Yeah. So there's a couple of churches, and we all partnered together, gave money for it to open, and we have volunteers serving on their team. And so, yeah, it's been awesome, the work that they're doing, being able to partner with them in that.
That's very cool. I cannot wait for that to open. I mean, that's going to help in a lot of ways.
Yes.
Having a prison ministry myself, one of the problems that you get is helping people reestablish their identification.
Yes.
And so I can't think of the lady's name right now that escapes me, who's helping on the team to coordinate it. She works with Baylor Scott and White, I think, or something. She has a prison ministry. Her husband did or something. He wrote some books. But anyway, she was telling me that one of the things that is a challenge for helping people get their identification is we've got to have a document with their name and their date of birth on it. That's one of the ways we can help them get identification. And this medical clinic will help provide that.
Yeah, which that reminded me, this past summer, it reminded me because we also serve a homeless population around us. And we started so we have, being downtown is a unique space for us because there's a lot of organizations already doing stuff. And so trying to figure out, we don't want to reinvent the wheel. And so it's like, where do we fit? How do we come alongside other people that are doing this work already? And so one of the ways that we were able to start doing something, we started doing this summer called a summer cooling center. It gets very hard here in Texas. And so we just opened the doors of our church. We provide snacks. We provide games for them to play, and it's not you have to do this and then we'll give you we're just going to be generous. We can open the doors of our church and volunteers come sit down at tables, play Uno with them. They play, all these different card games, and we just spend time with them. And so we run it all summer. And now for the first time starting in January, actually January 15th, we're doing a winter, what are we calling it? A warming center. Just because it's obviously the opposite, and February tends to be a little bit statistically colder for us here in Texas. And so we're going to be running that as well to serve the people experiencing homelessness in our community.
So I think about, in my mind right now, is this prominent mega church that when some flooding happened, the opposite. They would not open the doors of their church. And got quite a bit of flack for that.
Yes.
And so how cool that you guys are doing it during the summer to have cooling and during the winter to have a warming center. That's awesome.
Yeah, man, it was, I can't take credit for it. The people in our church have been passionate about this. We have one of our deacons who has had a vision for this, and we were like, hey, let's make it happen. And it's just been cool to see what the Lord's been doing in our people.
Interesting you talked too about the fact about being downtown and not wanting to replicate things that other people are doing and wanting to partner and do different things, right? And so that's where Hope for Everybody comes in. I don't know if I explained this to you or how much you know about it, but basically I've been doing nonprofit prison ministry now for going on almost 20 years.
Right.
We started in 2009. And 1 year, just to give an example, our organization spent probably $15,000 on car repairs.
Wow.
And we were just trying to help guys get from point A to point B so that they didn't lose their job and lose what they were trying to rebuild, right? And so we spent like $15,000. And I asked one of the guys in our ministry, I said, hey, it's North Texas Giving Day. Go over there on that website that does all these nonprofits and see if there's a nonprofit that does car repairs. And there was 15 minutes from my door.
Wow.
And I didn't know they existed. And I was like, how does this happen?
The best kept secret that nobody knows. Everybody's around, but nobody knows.
Right.
Yeah.
So we started Hope for Everybody, which is an online platform to allow nonprofits to communicate and collaborate more effectively.
Yeah.
Do you see how that would be beneficial?
Man, that is so good. Right now, like even for me, we have, even of the ones that I mentioned, there's so many other people that we partner in our community that we may not do financial stuff. We may not do, but we do, for example, World Relief. We do partnerships with them because we actually use their clubhouse for Ladera, and we have a good relationship with them. And I've gone to speak at some other stuff, and the same thing with what's it called? Oh my goodness, I'm blanking on the name. Catholic Charities.
Yeah.
Great organization in our community as well. And I mean, I can list a number of other organizations that unless you know and you've been around for a while, you don't know what's out there.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating for people that are trying to find help. And what you're doing is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Because people can just go to one spot and find whatever they need.
Yeah. So that's the idea, is what this website's going to do is it's going to allow nonprofits to sign up, and nonprofits are the payers. They're the only ones, but nonprofits will sign up $50, $100 a month, whatever. and they'll gain access to the entire network of providers that are in the network, and they'll get to reach out to others and communicate and collaborate effectively. But it's also going to allow people in need to go on the website, create a profile like Facebook, and indicate where they have needs, and then we're going to match them with those nonprofit providers.
That is incredible.
And we're going to allow them to rate each other's experience with each other.
So it forces them to be intentional.
Yeah,
That's
and
good.
to try to help prevent fraud, waste, abuse, and exploitation among nonprofits and clients.
That's good.
So the idea is, I've helped a lot of people over the years, and if I'd known that this person had been to 10 other organizations before me, it might have changed.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Obviously, being a church, we get a lot of people walk in and they see a church building, and they're like, "How do I get something out of it?" Sometimes, and so it's so hard, I think, for people that unless you understand, hey, there gotta be some sort of balance to protect everybody involved.
Yeah,
and we want to serve, but we also are stewarding money that people have donated.
Right.
The money that people give to our church is not for us to just give away without caring.
Right.
Part of my job is to be, hey, how do we steward this money well? We use it for what it's meant to do and prevent people that are trying to exploit and be like, hey, man, you've gotten help already. And so a lot of times it's like, hey, let me sit down with you. Tell me your story. What's going on? Who have you contacted? Let me verify that with you, right? And because we want to help them, but at the same time, I'm also responsible for the people that God has given us in our church and the money that they're giving for us to use it appropriately.
Yeah.
And I love that you're doing that because it allows people to be able to do that.
Yeah. So the way this is set up, if somebody's at the right subscriber level as the nonprofit, when they log in and they get somebody that's requesting a need, you'll see everywhere they've been.
Wow.
And then you can reach out to that person or those other organizations and say, hey, what's your experience been like? What do you think of the person? That kind of thing. And it's just going to help us be smarter and wiser about how we steward resources.
Absolutely.
So you could see the value of that.
Yes.
As a nonprofit, $1,500 a month, it's worth it to have those tools and resources available.
100%.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, I really appreciate what Paradox is doing in the community. It's a large church. It is a part of the Acts 29 network. Is that right? Still a part of the Acts 29?
We are Acts 29.
And so Reformed theologically when it comes to soteriology and those kinds of things, salvation. That's great. Yeah, we love it.
We are. So we are part of Acts 29. We are also connected with the Southern Baptist Convention as well.
Now, do you guys have recovery groups at your church?
We don't have currently recovery groups. That is something that we have talked about and considering and just trying to make sure that if we're going to run it, we have people that are willing to lead it and we have the leadership. Again, we want to make it sustainable and make sure that we do it well. But we have had people reach out, hey, what we do one? And we're open to it. People ask us all the time, would you guys do this ministry? And we're like, yes. If we have somebody that wants to lead it, and absolutely, we're willing to have a conversation and figure out how we come alongside you. And do it.
Do you have? Let's see. What else? What other comments? I guess obviously you have men's and women's groups, right? And you have care groups within the church. That meet regularly outside of church.
Absolutely, we call them city groups. And so those would be our small groups. We have anybody that is a partner at our church. Partners are our members. We're actually intentional with that language. I joke about we use partnership because we're hip. That's not true. The reason is because we use the language from Paul. We're partnering together for the work of ministry. And I think right now the language of membership is like a membership to Sam's Clubs. You forget you have it. And I think that God has called us to something deeper and better when it comes to church. There's a partnering for the work of ministry together. And so our partners, as we call them, we are able to help them financially at times if there are needs. And we're like, hey, how do we come alongside you? Even if we could financially support you. And it doesn't always come across that way. It might be that we send you to resources, but we take it seriously. We want to partner with our people well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to getting to know Paradox more and more and how our ministries can work together and partner to help the community and things. And I really appreciate you taking time to be here with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And the website for the church is theparadoxchurch.com. So please be sure to visit theparadoxchurch.com and try to connect with Joel at some point. And thank you again for being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. Appreciate it.
We've reached the end of today's episode of Hope for Everybody. If you'd like to be a part of the show and tell us your story, please visit us online at hopeforeverybody.org.